What's going on, everybody? It is your boy Dylan Matthews back at it again with another hometown take. Today we're switching it up a little bit, and we're talking about the college football playoff. The Final Four has been announced and the college football playoff matchups are set. And you know I gotta talk about my dogs because they in the playoff. And yes, I'm a Georgia fan. Like I said, I'm the hometown take and I root for all the Georgia sports. And I'm such a homer, I root for Georgia and Georgia Tech. Obviously, Georgia Tech football is but the Georgia Bulldogs, number 3 in the nation after they did lose in the SEC Championship to Alabama by a final score of 41-24. However, they had such a dominating regular season that they still made the college football playoff as we all knew they would. But they did drop to number 3, and now they're going to be taking on number 2, Michigan, in the Orange Bowl, I believe is the game that they are assigned to for this college football playoff. Anywho, I'm going to explain why the loss to Alabama might have helped the Georgia Bulldogs. Yes, I know they're not SEC champions. I know they haven't had an undefeated, regular season. Well, they did technically have an undefeated regular season because the SEC championship game was a postseason game technically. But the undefeated season out the window. There's no SEC championship for the Dogs this year. However, that all might come back to help them win a national championship, which is most important. So I'm going to explain in this video why this loss might have helped the Georgia Bulldogs. But before I do that, we got some business to take care of. Make sure you like this video, comment your thoughts, subscribe to the channel. Check out the first link in my description box to buy me a coffee to help fuel this channel, help fuel the Georgia Bulldogs to just 2 more wins. That's how many more wins they need to a national championship, just 2. So buy me a coffee to help fuel them to that. And it's the season to give in this December. We're getting Christmas time, it's the season to give. And so if you can give a little, I appreciate that. And I'm going to keep giving out the gift of these videos. So buy me a coffee if you can. Check out the second link in my description box to subscribe to the Tough Cause podcast with me and girl Symone with the Sports, as she likes to say, or talking to your favorite former and current athletes, hosts, anchors, reporters, all that good stuff. So make sure you listen to the pod, like the pod, download the pod, subscribe to the pod, share the pod out to your friends so they can listen to the pod, like the pod, download the pod, subscribe to the pod, share the pod out to your friends so they can listen to the pod, like the pod, download the pod, subscribe to the pod, and share the pod out to your friends you don't even know about. Alright guys, let's go ahead and get right into the video. So, like I mentioned before, the Georgia Bulldogs did lose yesterday in the SEC Championship game to the Alabama Crimson Tide with a final score of 41-24. And Alabama just came out there and hit Georgia in the mouth. I mean, they put up 41 points on a defense that was not even allowing 7 points per game. Coming into the SEC Championship, the Georgia defense was only allowing 6.9 points per game. And I think they had only given up like 22 defensive touchdowns, and it might not even have been that much. So Alabama had a great showing against the Georgia defense. But I'm not taking anything away from Alabama when I say this because they played a great game and they outplayed Georgia point blank, period. But I do fear that Georgia came into this game smelling themselves a little bit. Now, don't get me wrong. I think they were focused. I think they were ready. I think they were hyped up to play, and I think they wanted to win, obviously. They wanted to win an SEC championship. But in the back of their minds, they knew that no matter what happened in that game, they would still be in the college football playoff. Alabama, on the other hand, they had to win that game last night. If they didn't win that game last night, they're not in the college football playoff right now, and they're not the number 1 team in the nation right now getting ready to take on Cincinnati in the college football playoff. They're sitting at home waiting to find out what bowl game they're going to. They would have been in the New Year's Six Bowl, but they would have not been in the college football playoff. Alabama was playing like a desperate team last night, and desperate teams are always tough and scary to play against. Simple as that. Alabama was playing for their lives. Georgia knew they had a cushion, knew they could drop this one, and they would still be in. There wouldn't be any dire consequences besides no SEC championship, and you wouldn't be the number 1 seed going into the college football playoff, but you knew you would still be in the dance. So I think Georgia maybe came into that game just a little too comfortable, while Alabama came in there playing with their lives. that was just the mix for Alabama taking the cake and playing a great game. And I mean, like we all know it, the cliche sports mantra, a desperate team is a dangerous team. In this case, I think it really was true. But Georgia is going to have to fix some things. You know, they're going to have to figure out, because, again, if they take care of business against Michigan, you're going to have to find a way to stop the deep ball, because Alabama killed you on the deep ball in the SEC championship game. I mean, before Mechie got hurt, he was killing you. Williams was killing you. So you got to find a way to figure out the deep ball and stop the deep ball. You know, they did a solid job on the running game, but the deep ball and Bryce Young, you know, throwing dimes down the field is what really killed Georgia. They're going to have to figure that out. But before we get ahead of ourselves and get to Alabama, let's talk a little bit about what Georgia has coming up next, and that is the Michigan Wolverines. The Michigan Wolverines, obviously coached by Jim Harbaugh. He was facing a lot of scrutiny coming into this season, and he finally got over the beast that was Ohio State, his kryptonite. He beat them in the last regular season of the game during rivalry week, and then he had a great showing. His Michigan Wolverines team did a 42-3 blowout over the Iowa Hawkeyes. K. McNamara had a solid game, 169 yards, a touchdown, an interception, had a QBR of 68.8. But we all know the rushing game is where really Michigan gets their offense from. That's really the engine to their offense, I should say. Hassan Haskins, who I think the Georgia Bulldogs are really going to have to game plan and watch out for, he finished the game not as the leading rusher. He was the lead horse with 17 carries, but finished the game with 56 yards. Did have 2 touchdowns. His longest one was 11. But we had a nice showing from Blake Corum, who finished the game with 5 carries for 74 yards, 14.8 yards per carry. He had a long 67-yard touchdown run. So, and then like I said, this game got out of hand pretty quickly. So, final score of 42-3. You know, they had some subs in there. So yeah, it was a pretty good game from the Michigan Wolverines. Now again, you know, Iowa Hawkeyes aren't, you know, world beaters, but they're a solid team. And like I said, I think Georgia is going to win this game, but the loss to Alabama is, I'm feeling not sorry for Michigan, but Michigan is probably going to get one of the best games that Georgia has played this season, coming off a loss, their first loss of the season. Kirby Smart is going to have these guys ready and focused, and Georgia knows, you know, it's winner go home. So you're playing for your lives now. Georgia they can't afford any more losses. They got their one that they could this season. Now you can't afford any more. So I think they'll come out with a chip on their shoulder. They'll come out ready to prove that, hey, even though we did have a duck of a game just then, we're still this same old Georgia team, and we're still this same old Georgia defense that was only allowing 6.9 points per game coming into the SEC championship game. So I think they take care of business against Michigan. It's not going to be easy though, like I said. Got to make K. McNamara uncomfortable. You have to stop Hassan Haskins. So if you can really stop those two, I think Georgia will be okay. But it's not going to be easy. You know, Michigan might be able to put some points up on Georgia. And if they do, if Michigan is able to put some points up on Georgia and they do have a, you know, solid running game early, how is Georgia going to respond? They didn't respond well to Alabama being able to, you know, run the ball on them early on and throw the ball. So how is Georgia going to respond to being scored on again if, you know, they get into a shootout game for the second week in a row? How will they respond? You know, that's going to be big. And this offense too. This offense is going to have to start pushing its weight. Only 24 points against Alabama. I know Alabama is obviously still a great team and they shouldn't be slept on, especially as much as they were being slept on against Georgia. But this Georgia offense is going to have to start pulling its weight a little bit more. You know, they showed some sparks. Obviously, they had flashes where they were looking good last night. But Stetson Bennett is going to have to be better. The run game is going to have to, you know, get more. I mean, we had a pretty good run game last night, but Stetson's going to have to be better. Can't make the mistakes. I know he threw an interception last night. So the offense is going to have to start carrying this defense. This defense carried you all season long. It got you here. Now the Georgia offense is going to have to return the favor. They're going to have to start putting up some 30-point games probably, especially against Alabama, because Alabama is going to score on you again if we do make it to the national championship game. That's just what it is. You're going to have to score because Alabama is going to score on that defense. They already showed what they can do. Now, Will Georgia's defense give up 41 points again to Michigan? I don't think so. And if they do see Alabama in the championship game again, not even sure if they give up 41 points again to Alabama. Still though, this Georgia offense is going to have to start carrying its weight. And I don't know if 24-point performance gets the job done again. It may get the job done against Michigan. It might not. I don't think it gets the job done if you see Alabama again in the national championship game for a rematch. I don't think it gets the job done there. So this Georgia offense is going to have to figure some things out. Georgia defense, I think they'll come more prepared, ready to play. But it's going to be interesting to see, guys. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Do you think we're going to see a national championship rematch of the SEC championship game between Georgia and Alabama? Do you think those two will meet in the national championship game? Do you think Georgia will take care of business against Michigan? How are you feeling about the Dogs going up against Big Blue in the Capital One Orange Bowl? So let me know, guys. I think it's going to be an intriguing matchup between Michigan and Georgia, but we'll see. I mean, it could go either way. I think Georgia could turn this into a blowout, honestly, or it could be a close game. You know, Michigan is a little tough to figure out. They did have that very good win against Ohio State. They took care of business against Iowa, but they haven't faced a beast like Georgia before. Dang, I ain't seen nobody like Georgia this season, so I'm not sure if Michigan is going to be ready for the tall task that is Georgia and that Georgia defense. Now, like I said, the offense is nothing to sneeze at either, especially, you know, when Georgia ain't going up against Alabama. They put up a lot of points this season, so it's going to be tough for Jim Harbaugh, that Big Blue, you know what I'm saying? But we'll see what happens. Like I said, on the Georgia side, I think as long as they, you know, put pressure on Cade McNamara, and I mean, this kind of goes without saying, you make Cade McNamara uncomfortable, you stop the run game, you stop Hassan Haskins from, you know, going off on you and, you know, chunking you for yards, I think Georgia will be okay. And like I said, I'm feeling pretty good about them winning this game. But Alabama showed they ain't to be reckoned with. They ain't just gonna roll over. Alabama's, you know, they still Bama. They still Crimson Tide, and the Tide is still rolling. So we gonna see y'all, but can't look too far ahead. They do have to take care of Michigan first, and we'll see what happens. But guys, again, like this video, comment your thoughts, subscribe to the channel. Make sure you check out the first link in my description box to buy me a coffee to help fuel this channel, help fuel the Georgia Bulldogs to just 2 more wins. That's all they need for a national championship. And we'll have a Braves team that's got a World Series title and a Georgia team that's won its national championship in a while. So we're doing some winning over here in Atlanta and in the state of Georgia. So let me know how you're feeling about the college football playoff matchups down below. Again, like this video, comment your thoughts, subscribe to the channel. Check out the first link in my description box to buy me a coffee. Check out the second link in my description box to subscribe to the Tough Calls podcast. Me and girl Symone with the Business are talking to your favorite former and current athletes, hosts, anchors, reporters, all that good stuff. Make sure you listen to the pod, like the pod, download the pod, subscribe to the pod, share the pod out to your friends so they can listen to the pod, like the pod, download the pod, subscribe to the pod, and share the pod out to their friends you might not even know about. Alright guys, again, like this video, comment your thoughts, subscribe to the channel. Till I talk to you guys next time, stay true to Atlanta, believe in Atlanta. Peace.